Today, Winston and myself will be doing a presentation on wireless communication systems. The purpose of this presentation is to get a better understanding of how wireless communication systems operate and the basics of these systems. Today, we will focus on how they originated, how these systems have evolved, and how we use them today as electricians. So some might ask, what is a wireless communication system? A wireless communication system is the transfer of information from one location to another location without the use of an electrical conductor to transfer this information. That's how the name wireless communication came to be. So in history, the wireless communication has drastically changed. Wireless communication first comes from transmitting and receiving data devices, which was in the 1890s, and this was known as wireless telegraphy. The receiver would detect an electromagnetic signal in the atmosphere, but Winston's going to go into further detail later in his demonstration of his video portion of this. So to continue with the history, the wireless telegraphy, which was used to pass information from one location to another, usually amongst the government, and then later on in the First World War, they found that they needed more of a reason for it to be discreet so that other parties couldn't decrypt these messages because it was wireless. So what they did is they encoded these messages using a method known as frequency hopping spread spectrum. This was used by the transmitter would send a frequency up and down the electromagnetic field, and the receiver end would have to know this frequency in order to properly decode the message. Now, this has evolved over the years. In the 1890s, like I said, it was known as wireless telegraphy. By the 1920s, they started calling it the radio. It wasn't made portable until the 1960s, and then they started calling it a wireless set. After this, in the 1990s, it's evolved to what we know today to be Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Along with this, the home automation has also majorly developed over the years. Before, in the 1970s, we would wire houses with a bunch of hardwired connections so that you could plug your computer in. After Wi-Fi was developed, there is no longer this need of all these hardwired connections. We can now just wire one wireless router, which allows us to add many devices. Some of these household objects now in home automation are the iRobot, which is just a simple wireless robot that will clean your floors for you. There's types of lighting that's also like smart lighting. We have smart houses. We have security cameras that are based off of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So to go over some of the advantages and disadvantages of this system. So the advantages is that it's portable. So we can have a laptop and wirelessly connect through it anywhere in the house. There's no hardwired cost because you just have that one wireless router instead of having connections all over the house to use the internet. It's also a lot easier to connect to a printer because you don't physically have to plug it in. You can print it from one room and grab it in your printer in the other room. It's also a lot easier to add devices onto the network. There are some disadvantages with wireless communication systems. They are a bit more expensive. However, the hardwired systems are becoming more obsolete nowadays. Wireless systems also need security because other people can tap into yours the more technologically advanced we're becoming. The wireless may also be slower than having a hardwired connection, and the more people on your wireless connection may slow your internet down. It's also affected by the strength of your transmitter you are using, and the materials in a building may slow it down. The wireless signals do not like to go through steel, so if you have ductwork, a refrigerator, or you're in a steel building, it will not go through as well as a constructed home of wood. Now, electricians today use wireless communication systems, and we have to evolve with the times because there are things like smart houses where they wire thermostats, you'll wire blinds, you wire security cameras, all on one system in the house. This really relates to our course because we're learning about fire control systems, security systems. Well, some smart houses have this all integrated, and as an electrician, we need to know how to wire this. So it is part of our future. We also wire security cameras where our client uses Wi-Fi or Bluetooth to watch through this camera. So to conclude this presentation, they have evolved from sending signals a short, small amount of distance in a small signal to being able to send signals around the world in many different ways. So Wi-Fi and Bluetooth have evolved greatly, and the few cons of wireless communication systems are only getting better as our technology advances. After this presentation, Winston is going to do a demonstration of the basic of wireless communication system and how it used to operate, and then we're going to go over a question and answer. Thank you everyone for watching my video, and have a good day.
Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how electromagnetic waves work. The equipment I'm going to be using for this is just your standard alarm clock with a AM and FM setting. Some copper wire that I coiled up to act as an antenna, and just a regular AA battery. So I'll start with the alarm clock. You want to turn it to your AM setting here and turn up the volume so you could hear it. So I'm going to put it all the way up. Now, what you have to do is you have to get basically this is acting as your antenna, so this is amplifying the signal that the electromagnetic waves are going to be sent from the high voltage on the battery. So what you want to do is you want to connect one side to the negative and the other side to the positive. And then if you listen closely, you can hear the scratching. And that's the electromagnetic waves from the antenna going to the alarm clock antenna, making sound. So all I'm doing there is I'm just scratching the positive end, and the negative end's connected on the other side. And you can hear that reaction happening on the alarm clock in real time. So yeah, that's all you really have to do to try something like this, and this is how basic wireless communication happens. Obviously a lot more advanced, but this is the premise or the principle of that. So here's the next part of my experiment here. So I'm just going to show you guys how you can use these electromagnetic signals like they did back in the day to communicate. So the first one I'm going to show you guys is SOS. And I'm going to show you using this, and then I have another one that I'm going to show you afterwards. So like before, you just put it on your AM, and now I'll show you guys how to do SOS on this. So right there I was just showing you guys how to do an SOS message, using electromagnetic waves with the alarm clock. So now I'm going to send you guys a secret message here, and you guys can guess what I'm saying using Morse code. So here I'm using a relay, just your standard relay at work. Thanks for watching, guys.